welcome. Show 5.
Show 5.
Show 5.
Flying over.
Matching hoodies this week.
Yeah. Matching hoodies this week, which is good.
We'll have to get some corporate workwear done soon. What do you think? For the show and everything and all that.
I don't think it's there yet.
Nah. Okay. Wait till we get another 3 viewers.
Yeah. 2. Maybe
2. Yeah, get a couple of subscriptions. So what we've decided to do, we've been scratching around looking for news, haven't we? So we think we're going to put news into this section, but we're just going to talk a little bit and chat and just talk in general about stuff that's coming up, stuff that's gone on, things that's happened in previous shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just looking for stories. Sometimes in the magic world, there's nothing that happens for weeks, and then all of a sudden there's loads that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it take a whole show. So
we're just going to talk about some general stuff, or any questions as well. You know, some things that we touched on last time, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it on this.
Expand on stuff.
Yeah, expand on stuff. But I think what we're going to talk about mainly was.
So in 2 weeks, it is the CCC convention, which is the convention that I organised. This is the 3rd one. So CCC, people think it stands for Chris Congreve's convention. That's not what it stands for at all. Unfortunately, the only way you'll get to find out what it actually stands for is if you come along to the convention.
I know what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So do I. So I'm really excited. It's a great weekend.
Yeah.
You've been to the first 2, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done 2. Yeah, I've done 2 of them so far. Very, very good. It's one of those sort of small scale conventions where you get to really talk to people and sort of mix and mingle with everybody, including the artists who are performing.
And that's the thing, we sort of keep it in the one building.
Yeah.
So the guys who are performing, the guys who are dealers, you know, all the working magicians and the people, you know, like yourself who's got a dealer table there.
Yeah.
Everybody's there, and we all sit. You know, we don't have anything on in the evening, so we just sit and chat. You know,
I also think, actually, speaking about the dealers, I haven't spoke about that on the last one, but the dealers it's a very good selection of dealers that you get every time.
It is
it's quite a lot for such a small convention.
I'm really proud. I'm really happy of it this year because everybody. So Graham's going to be there with the stuff. You know, like the Murphys and the Penguins
and general stuff.
So general stuff, or some, you know, some new products that
might have some ducks.
He might have some. We haven't spoken about your duck yet, have we?
No, not yet.
So we maybe talk about the duck next week. So so you get a lot of that general stuff, and then all the other guys there have got specific things for them. So I've got Rob Coleman, who makes magicians' tables and things like that's going to be there. So this is the first time for him, so that's exciting. But then we've got Vinny, Neo Magic. I've got, and I don't want to miss anybody out here, so I'm going to feel bad if I miss people. So I've got 2 guys who are dealing for the first time at any convention, so that's exciting. And then there's James Keatley, who does all the coin gimmicks and all that kind of stuff. Lord Harry, who's lecturing as well, has got a table. Who else is there? Vinny Sagoo, Neo Magic. I love Vinny's stuff. He's got a new book out, which we'll be talking about next week.
Yes. My head hurts. That's not my head doesn't hurt. That's what the name of the book is.
And we've had a quick look through it, haven't we?
I have.
We'll give it a full review next week. But that was great. And then as far as the lecturers concerned, Steve Della, Night Flight, creator of the Night Flight deck, and loads of other goodies. And Steve's got a really cool idea at the minute. I don't know if you've seen this, where when he's doing his lectures and stuff, he's put like a mini lecture pack together for £10. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's great. So I think he's got like his there's more or less a close-up act for a tenner.
Right.
So he's got like his what was that thing he put out? Was it like all about Eve Light? I think it's like a book testing a page. Will to read.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's the thing with some cards that you can have like a little card index in your pocket and stuff like this. But there's 2 or 3 effects that you can link together as a whole set and a close-up set for a tenner.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean that's
it's good. Like I said, I think it's a deal. You always seem to have quite a lot of dealers. Some of the smaller conventions I go to sometimes only have 1 or 2 dealers, whereas you seem to have quite a few. So it's a really good selection of different stuff.
And then Mark Bennett's going to be there with his company, MB Magic, and Mark's got some great stuff. I was stood next to him at Blackpool this year, and some of the new effects that he's put out, particularly, and I've asked him to send us some, just at least one, so we can review it. But he's got a card to how would you describe it? It's like a card to envelope type thing, but it's like an Amazon gift card type thing, card to gift card. You know what I mean?
Oh, right, okay.
So basically, you get a card signed and all the rest of it. Instead of bringing a wallet out that's like this big, like mine, you know.
Yeah.
And I have had people say, you know, what's that? Is that your wallet? Like, you know, and they look at you like
like you're in the 1900s.
Exactly that. A funny story about that, actually, a few years ago. Me and Gary Jones and a few others were doing a gig in London, and we do a gig for this agent, and it's the first time we worked for this agent, right?
Right.
So they're all the agent saying, "Show us a trick." So I did a trick, and I did card to wallet, and then somebody else did a trick, and then something ended up in the wallet, and by the time we'd all had a go, they all went, "You've all got the same wallet," which was fun. So anyway, so this thing with marks, it's like, you know, when you buy something now and it comes in, it's like a sealed envelope, and you have to peel the tab off to open it up,
like you get from Amazon as well.
Exactly, and that's what it is. So it's card inside one of those seal things, which is a great idea.
Cool. Yeah.
And it takes it away from wallet. And the good thing about that is, of course, if you've got a Peak wallet or something else, you can still do card to wallet, but without using, because there's nothing weirder than bringing two different wallets out for two different effects. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? It's like doing a card trick with one pack of cards, putting them away, and then bringing out another pack of cards.
That's something we should talk about at some point, is wallets.
We say that every week, and then we forgot what we said the week before.
We do. We need to be more professional, write this stuff down.
Yeah.
Wallets.
No, but it's true. I think it's true. So the lineup has got a little bit of everything. So we've got the wonderful Christian Grace, who he fools me every time I see him.
Yeah, there's some fantastic lecturers at your thing,
yes.
But if there's one thing that you want to come and see and be fooled, Christian Grace fools me every time.
Yeah,
he shows me
it does. Yeah. He's such
no
a nice
matter
bloke as well, isn't he?
What is in his lecture, it's always a good lecture.
So Christian's lecture. Then we've got John Hotauka, who's he talks a lot about. I have seen his lecture before; it's fabulous. He talks about close up that pays off his mortgage.
Yeah, and he's very much a commercial person. Yeah. It's commercial type magic that he does.
If you've ever wanted to get into trade shows, it's the perfect lecture, because he talks about all the trade show stuff that he did. I think he's retired from performing now. I could be wrong. Sorry, John, if I am, but I'm pretty sure he's retired from performing, or he's certainly scaled it down.
Right.
Mark Bennett, who's doing a mixture of close up and stand up. Eddie McCall, Scottish card genius. He's doing a lecture on some Roy Walton effects, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
He messaged me the other day. He's spoken to Roy's family, and he's had permission to perform and teach these effects.
That's good.
So that's going to be really interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Lord Harry, who I mentioned earlier, and
Lord Harry does like commercial type stuff as well.
He does.
His stuff's very
he
commercial.
lectured at Blackpool this year, and he got a standing ovation.
Right, really?
I don't know how much that cost him.
I never get to see any lectures, to be honest, at Blackpool.
No, I don't. But I caught up with him because he was a bit... you've lectured at Blackpool as well, haven't you? And I've lectured at Blackpool, and it's quite a nerve-wracking thing, right?
It is, yeah.
You know, it's where all of your contemporaries and peers are all there at the same time. And if you bomb at Blackpool, it soon gets round, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, people hear about it quite quickly. So it's quite a nerve-wracking... I don't know about you, but I found it quite
it is a big thing. I mean, it couldn't have been worse for me. Like, it was the first year back after COVID when I lectured.
Yeah.
And I was on at the same time as Topaz lecturing.
Oh, no.
And as well as other lecturers.
I mean,
in fact, I even had somebody get up in the middle of the thing and said, "Thanks very much for coming to my lecture," instead of going to see Topaz. And I had two people who stood up and went, "Topaz is on," and went out.
No.
Yeah. It was set up, obviously, but it was funny though. But I bet everybody in the audience is thinking the same thing.
Of course, it was set up.
I'm missing Topaz. You're joking.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, but yeah, Lord Harry. So he's there.
Lord
Harry doing his stuff. I love his ring in the. See, he does the ring in the gummy bag, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
good. And he's got a new torn and restored effect. I don't know if you've seen it.
I think you might have shown.
I haven't seen how it's done. I've just seen a video performance of it.
Right, okay.
And it's so clean looking. I mean, it's so clean looking. And he also does the best trick you will ever see with a unicorn.
Right, okay. I've definitely not seen this.
It's fab, yeah. It's really good. It's funny. It's hilarious.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So, yeah, he's a great lecture. And we've got Steve Deller. Steve Deller, who we were just speaking about. I've known Steve since he was a young lad. Great magician. great mentalist, and a brilliant lecturer.
He's won quite a few awards, apparently. Is that true? Magic awards?
Well, so he tells everybody.
He's won a lot of awards.
He has won a lot. When I first knew him, he just entered the Young Magician of the Year, and he won that. And he's from then he's gone on and he's won he's won loads of stuff. Member of the Inner Magic Circle and Young Magician of the Year, and great performer. Great.
That's a good lecturer as well. So I mean, that's a strong.
It is. I think it's a strong lineup. Yeah. And I'm just madly thinking if I've missed anybody out, because I'd hate to upset anybody else.
I'm trying to picture the poster.
I think I've got everybody.
Who's on there? How much is it?
So, £85. There's not many tickets left. There are still a few.
What's the dates?
So it's the 18th and 19th of April. It's in the Midlands. It's in Cannock. We head over to the website stellarmagicshop.com.
So it's £85 for 2 days.
For 2 days. There are Saturday and Sunday tickets available, which is a different price.
Okay.
But yeah, so stellarmagicshop.com if you want to book for that. I've got a few tickets left, but it's looking busy. It's looking like it's going to be full. Yeah.
Going to sell out, hopefully.
Yes.
So yeah, get your tickets now.
Graham, I better show everybody at home. This is a regular pack of cards, all right?
Yeah.
And I just want you to take, just reach in, take any card out. It's a completely free choice. Anyone? Yeah, got one?
Yeah.
Have a look at that. Show it to the camera.
Yep.
Got that?
Okay.
Fantastic. And now you're going to have to be two people at once here.
Try and do that.
And if you just want to grab another one. Now, normally you would get this signed as well, the second card signed. But as this is a new pack and we've just opened them, we're too tight to do that. So, right. So I'm not going to find the cards anyway. We're going to use the two jokers to find your card, okay? The first one, if we leave the jokers there for a split second, one card's going to jump all the way up through the pack and trap a card, and hopefully that would be the first card that you select.
It is.
Is that right? So obviously we've still got to find the second card. So what we do, so I just snap my fingers over the six of spades and it changes into the sign four of diamonds.
Really good.
So there you go. That is Andrew Normansell's Club Sandwich. So that's been out for, 20 years probably?
Yeah.
I think something, it's been out for a good long time. It was one of, when JB Magic were still in Blackpool.
Blackpool, yeah. I mean, look at their packaging on this. Oh,
written instructions.
2005.
20 years? 21 years?
21 years.
Wow.
Even written instructions in this version.
Now, I think JB Magic were doing video dems at that point, and I remember seeing a lot of this stuff. This is like, I think video sort of dems and stuff were fairly new around then.
Yeah.
And you used to have Darren Robinson, he used to be doing all the video dems in the shop at Blackpool and stuff. And I remember seeing this and I loved it, bought it, and I gigged it for ages. And then me and Gary Jones came up with a slightly alternative sort of handling of it, which we put out with Big Blind Media that I went on to use for ages. And but yeah, it's great. I mean, it's still got the sticker on.
So this is a funny story. So Chris was hunting around in the shop looking for stuff, and he's been finding stuff that I didn't even know I had. And he brought this and he goes, "Do you know about this?" And I goes, "Oh, I remember that from years ago. I can vaguely remember the effect." And it still had the price sticker on it from 21 years ago. Do you want to tell them how much it was, or should I?
£8.99.
£8.99 is what it was 21 years ago.
What a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth more than that now. So this trick Club Sandwich, I do remember it. I remember Andrew Normansell. He was quite big at the time. He put a few things out, wasn't he, with different companies at the time?
He put a DVD set out with Alakazam just after that.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And he did it, but he does a lot of, he's still around at conventions and things. But
yeah, I've not seen him for ages.
He tends to do stuff with tarot cards and telling stories and stuff like that. So he's gone down a slightly different
different
path. Sorry?
This is mega commercial.
Absolutely.
Mega usable, workable trick.
Yeah, like I said, I used it all the time for ages and ages. Yeah. It's great little effect, easy to do.
What sleights are involved in it, would you say? On a scale of 1 to 10, how easy or hard is it? I mean, I know roughly, but...
I would say it's a 3. So you force a card, and you control a card.
So, yeah,
that's it. And
within the capability of most.
Most, I would think, anybody who's even, a relative beginner at card magic would be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's fairly basic stuff. But you really look. I mean, especially that first card. You know, when you like this, and you just 1 second. And the card appears face up like that. It's a really magical moment. And then all you know, and that's it. It's done. It's so simple to do, but you can really build this up now. You bang, and you've got the second card.
Yeah, it's a
lovely moment.
It's really, really good, really clean. It's not available anymore from Magicbox.
No, that's the last one.
Yeah, it's not a trick that we sell. I did do a quick bit of research. It is available. The only place I can find it available is Penguin.
Penguin Magic.
So Penguin Magic still sell this, or still have some in stock at the minute. We even checked on JB Magic, and even he doesn't have it listed on his site. But you can still get them from Penguin Magic, and I think it was $20. I think
$20.
Still,
so about $20 quid or something. 15 quid.
Yeah, something like that. So I think for that price, it's a bargain really for like £15, $20.
Yeah, absolutely.
The routine's fantastic. Very easy to do, very commercial. Yeah, love it. Haven't seen that for a long time.
There you go.
Over to you.
Me?
Yeah, well, over to them.
Over to them.
Over to you.
So we got two questions that we're gonna cover, and they sort of tie in a little bit.
Right.
So the first question is, what tricks would we perform, or if we were doing an audition for? First of all, it said the Magic Circle, and then he said, or any magic club for that matter.
Right.
So I think we'll discuss it as if it's the Magic Circle. Are you a member of the Magic Circle?
No, I was. No.
Ooh, controversial.
Yeah, it's a long story.
Oh, I think we should go into that.
That's a news discussion for the start of a show.
Okay. I'm intrigued now. So there's that, and the other question was, do we, when we're performing, do we link all of our tricks together, or do we just chat while we bring it to put in one proper way and bringing out the other with whatever we've got? Okay. So which way do you want to tackle it?
Let's talk about the audition process first. And I think even not just the Magic Circle, but most Magic Circles have a similar sort of process, don't they? As in, you've got to do an audition to become
They used to. I think from what I'm seeing and hearing, a lot of magic societies now are moving away from auditions.
Right. So here at Newcastle, the Newcastle Magic Circle, you have to do an audition, even if you're not a performer. So there has been a lot of discussion about this over the years, and I think a lot of circles have probably had the same discussion, as in you might have somebody who comes along who's really interested in magic. It's not necessarily a performer. Could be a creator, but they don't necessarily perform the stuff.
So what do they just stand up and give a talk?
Or there could be somebody who reads a lot of books and is very knowledgeable on magic, but again, doesn't particularly go out and perform the tricks. And there is people like that out there. And in fact, we can probably name a few people like that who are more creators and readers or knowledgeable magicians than
and you get collectors and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it is a funny one, but Newcastle have always had them do an audition regardless.
So, we'll get back to the actual question in a second because we haven't really answered that. But I lecture a lot at magic clubs, a lot. And I've done lectures at magic clubs overseas a few times as well.
All right.
And what I'm hearing generally is magic clubs are shrinking, and I think COVID kicked the stuffing out of a lot of them as well. And I don't think they've ever quite come back from that. And what I hear a lot is when there's a lecture on, you'll have a good turnout, and then the next week when it's do a trick that involves, I don't know, a washer or something like that, then they might only get 5 or 6 or 7 people and stuff like this, you know, the club nights, as we used to call them. So the numbers are shrinking. So to try and attract people to come, see, these auditions were put in for magic clubs 120 years ago, 125. The Magic Circle's 125 years old this year. So, and the BMS is actually older than that. So, 128 years ago, or whatever, the only way people could find out about magic was if they dug out some of these books that were hard to get hold of, or they were mentored by another magician. So, a lot of people used to turn up to clubs to try and find out all the secrets and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
it doesn't happen.
You can go on your mobile phone, can't you? And we've talked about this before. You can just literally, while you're standing at the table entertaining somebody, they can Google what you're doing and find out what it is before you've left the table. if they, if they put the right thing in, especially if you did something like that's really easy to
yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think part of the problem is a lot of clubs, especially Newcastle, want to try and promote and push people to perform.
I'm not saying that's right, by the way.
And so I think sort of having them audition kind of pushes them and puts them under that little bit of pressure to do something.
Yeah. Do you not think, though, that somebody turning up and showing a knowledge of magic and answering some questions is enough nowadays?
Yes, it probably is. I mean, there's definitely an argument for that.
That's what my local
like you said, the original idea of somebody doing an audition was to prove that they had an interest in magic.
Yes.
And they always generally say, you don't have to necessarily perform something that's going to fool everybody there, because the chances are you're going to struggle to fool a room full of magicians. You're going to struggle to do that. Just do something that you're comfortable with. But for instance, if somebody come along and auditioned and did Svengali deck and dynamic coins, would you say that was enough to get them? I mean, I guess it depends how they're performing, obviously.
It depends. I personally, I think it depends on the magic circle that they're going to.
Yeah.
If you were going to go to the magic circle in London and you rocked up with dynamic coins and the Svengali deck, I would say that with a 99% surety that you would not pass your exam to get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you turned up to a magic club in
Newcastle,
well, anywhere really. If you did that, and they had, because they have an interview process as well, I assume.
Yes.
If they showed enough interest at that interview process, and even if they only knew a Svengali deck, and these are the people that you can help and mentor and help them improve as magicians and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what you've mentioned there, by the way, hit the nail on the head, and something I was going to mention in a second. Most of the people who come to the Magic Circle now have already been to 3 or 4 meetings, and they've already been through the interview process. So the committee or the circle already know the background of that person anyway, without them having to perform. Whereas back in the day, it was kind of cold. They wouldn't have been to lots of meetings. People would have known who they were. So it was kind of a good thing and a good and bad. They would get up and perform what they were, and it would give them an understanding of what sort of magic they were, what level they were at. Yeah. Whereas now they've been along to 3 or 4 meetings. They've chatted to other magicians. They've had an interview. The majority of the members already know. Anyway.
And that's where social media and things like that are great, because you can get to know people online before you actually, meet them properly in person and stuff like that.
But back to what you would do in an audition.
So if you were doing your exam tomorrow for, let's say you've moved to Penzance and you've got to go and audition for the Penzance International Wizards community or wherever, I'm obviously making things up here. Yeah. But you're doing your audition tomorrow night. What would you do?
So I'd say it's probably a bit easier for me and maybe easier for you, because you've got probably even easier for you because you could do your own material. So you could literally do 10 minutes of just your own stuff. I don't necessarily have lots of my own stuff, as in my own creations, but I do have my own routines. So I know I would definitely start off with my flash raffle tickets and my coin routine, which I do talk about in the lecture. And it's very fast. It doesn't, well, there is one part of it which does fool a lot of magicians. There's a production at the end and a vanish of a certain item, which does fool 99% of magicians who I do it for. But it's a very fast open, and essentially there's 6 effects, not tricks, but 6 magic things happen in the space of 45 seconds.
Wow.
So it's very, very fast, very punchy. So I'll definitely open with that. And then there's a couple of other things I would do, which again aren't necessarily mine, but they're stuff that I don't think many people would have seen. But I'll do stuff I'm comfortable with.
I think, and I think that's the key to it. So I think what Graham's just sort of nailed it there, really. Do what you're comfortable with, but you need to, I think there's probably 2 things that you definitely need to get into any audition, really. One is to show some skill. I think you need to show some skill as a magician, really. And even, I mean, you mentioned the Svengali deck, right?
You need to show something you've worked on.
Yeah.
That's obvious. You've put time into this.
But even a Svengali deck in the hands of a skilled magician looks like a completely different thing to in the hands of someone who's just picking up a pack of cards for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So I think you need to show some skill, and I think you need to show that you can engage with people and stuff like that. would be my thing. But as you've rightly said, I mean, if you're someone who's more of a collector or a student of magic rather than a performer, then you would just get up and talk about it, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I think even the Magic Circle allow for that, because not everybody is a performer.
Yeah. I mean, I have sat through some auditions and seen some good ones and some bad ones. I've seen some people here at Newcastle not get in.
Yes.
And do stuff and get stuff wrong. And some people have come up and actually not done a trick.
I saw a guy.
They didn't get in.
I saw a guy once who did a self-working card trick, got it wrong, and they still let him in. And they said at the time, yeah, but we're best helping him, really.
Well, that's kind of the point of joining the circle,
isn't it? It is. But then this guy went out, got some business cards printed with this Magic Club's logo on there, and he was trying to get work.
You've got to be careful of, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, they're not going to steal gigs off any established pros. However, people who see that you're a member of that Magic Club and the other person's a member of that Magic Club, they might judge you by association.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, back to stuff that you'd put in, like you said, do stuff that you're comfortable with, stuff that you've worked and you've done. But like you said, you also need to put something in there that looks you've worked on, that's clear you've worked on, even if it is a Svengoolie deck, but something that you can tell that routine you've really worked on it.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. I think they've just got to show that you've put some effort into it, really.
But I wouldn't go out of your way to try and fool them.
No.
Because I think that's what people are hell-bent on when they go and do an audition. They're like, oh, I've got to learn something that is going to fool them.
Yeah, so instead of doing what they're comfortable with.
So, I mean, I've had people come into the shop and buy a trick that they're auditioning that night. So they'll come into the shop and buy the trick on the Monday morning, knowing that, and I know because I was on the committee at the time, that they're coming that night to perform for the audition and report that morning.
That's crazy, isn't it?
I know, mad. Yeah. But is that the sort of person that you want in the club? And that's the question that obviously that's what
that's up to the individual clubs, isn't it? But it needs to be something you've rehearsed.
But I wouldn't try and go.
Also, you've got to try and get your time. It's a bit like when you do a competition. I mean, I've never gone in for a lot of competitions over the years, but you've got to try and get it between 8 and 10 minutes usually, or something like that, or 8 and 12 minutes, or something like that. So you need to rehearse it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. I hope that helps.
So yeah, that's
so the second question was about do we tie our tricks together or just talk as we move from one thing to another?
Okay, which kind of fits in.
It does kind of fit in, and I know your answer is going to be pretty much exactly the same as my answer. So I'm going to let you start.
So my style is very fast. It's very quick fire magic. I generally only do, depending on how many people are there, maybe 3 tricks in a group or a table. The tricks aren't really strung together in a structure as in there's a reason why the next thing is going to happen. There's a reason why the next thing. Yes, it does flow, but it flows because I've done it so many times and it's natural to go from that to that to that. But for me, I have a very strong opener and a very strong closer, and that middle trick.
And a really crap one in the middle.
I wouldn't say it's crap, but it's it varies, that middle one.
Yeah.
I generally have the same opener and the same closer and something different in the middle.
And if you're like me, if you're trying a new thing out, stick it in the middle and see how it goes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great place to put something. Yeah.
But would I perform differently in a competition? Yes, potentially.
I don't think he was particularly talking about competitions.
I think that's a good thing. I wouldn't perform the same way or the same material in a comp or maybe an audition than I would working. And I think the reason for that is when I'm performing to magicians, I kind of have a slightly different character when I'm performing for magicians than I do for general people. Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't. I don't know.
Exactly the same.
A few more sort of. There's a few more magician gags and things in there, and stuff that I wouldn't do for laymen.
Do you know when because obviously I perform for magicians a lot at lectures and at your dealer table and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I sort of realised this a few years ago. In fact, Mark James said something to me that sort of, and the penny kind of dropped. And he says, when people are going out for a lecture, they're out for a good time. They want to be entertained. Yeah. They're not out there to be fooled, and they're not out there. They want a show. You know, they've come away from the television for the night to be entertained. So I treat a room full of magicians exactly the same as if I was performing for a room full of lay people. Right. I put all the jokes in there. I do everything exactly the same way. and it's stood me in good stead, really, I think.
Yeah, I would say kind of agree with that in the majority of it, but I do change stuff.
Yeah, no, I
do change stuff. So stuff, if I'm performing for magicians, there's gags that I wouldn't do for magicians that I would do for laymen, for instance. And there's gags that I would do for magicians that I wouldn't do for the laymen.
So there's the only time there's gags that I do for lay people that are quite rude that I wouldn't do for magicians.
Right, okay, mate, the other way around.
No, yeah, absolutely. So as far as linking stuff goes, I think it is, personally, I think it's really cringeworthy sometimes when people are trying to crowbar something in.
Yeah, you don't need to force it.
They're trying to force it, so there's like a real tenuous link between stuff.
Yeah.
I think as long as, like Graham said, as long as it flows. So I think we talked about this when we were talking about pocket management last time or the time before. You know, as long as you're sort of covering, when you're putting something away in your one pocket and you're bringing the next thing out, as long as you're saying something that flows and the conversation flows and everything else, I think that's enough, personally. So I'll go from doing a rope trick and I'll put the rope in my pocket and then I'll be bringing a chop cup, for example.
Yeah, it's already out.
And it's already there.
There's no dead time.
I'll give you an example, right? So I've opened with a rope trick and I've got a chop cup in my right pocket. And as I'm putting the rope in the pocket, I say, have you ever heard of the thing where they've got 3 shells, 3 cups and a ball, and you've got to follow it, or 3 shells and a pea? So I've now got that. The rope's back, and the chop cup's out, and they go, yeah. So, well, this is the Wolverhampton version. It just uses 1 cup. Somebody nicked the other 2, you know. So I've put the ropes away. I've set up the premise for the next trick. And I've got a joke in at my own expense, and I'm now picking the ball out of the pocket, and I'm ready to start performing in the time it's took me to say that.
Yeah.
So the 2 things aren't linked, but you kind of link them together. It flows.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the thing, isn't it? The flow between the 2. It kind of is. You are linking them in a way. They're not. But I know what you mean when you're saying people crowbarring it in to try and make it, and it doesn't really work.
Talking about their grandma's favourite card, and then these are my grandma's favourite knickers. And
I'll give an example as well as two of my things which are strung together in a similar sort of way. So I generally, if I go from this trick to this trick, I would do a coin routine with a coin that's produced, and then I vanish the coin, and you end up with a jumbo coin. As I put the jumbo coin away, at this point I say that, by the way, in case anybody wonders, I'm the magician, because I don't walk up to the table and say, hello, good evening, my name's Graham, I'm the magician. I just go in and bang and hit it fast. 45 seconds elapses, and I go, by the way, in case anybody wonders, I'm the magician, which gets a laugh.
You should say, and then the Rod Stewart tribute.
I do. I follow that up by saying somebody over there thought it was the Rod Stewart act. Or
love it,
I say taxman now. I don't look.
Taxman.
Yeah. Because people, if I'm dressed in a suit or whatever, somebody over there thought it was the taxman. And then I say, anyway.
I love that, though, because it just, and I'll say something similar.
Belittles yourself a little bit.
You take, I found since I started being a bit self-deprecating, making people laugh straight away, so you put them at ease with the gag, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you put them at ease with the gag, you take the mickey out of yourself a little bit. I very rarely, if ever, get heckled by people at gigs now, because you've done it to yourself before they've had a chance to do it. And they just relax into it and go, oh, you know, he seems like a nice bloke, and they just let you crack on.
This is something we need to talk about in a...
what was the last thing? You can't remember.
I can.
What was the thing we said earlier? You can't remember.
Watch it back. We should definitely talk about openers, though, and how you approach table.
Somebody asked us.
That's a really good
Somebody
question.
has asked us about
but back to me, stringing stuff together. So I produced the jumbo coin, I put it away. I say now a lot of people think that I use trick coins. So if somebody got something I can borrow, I like to borrow something. Now, generally, people don't have coins. So I say, what about a ring? We'll use a ring. Now we'll go into a ring trick where I vanish on a ring.
That kind of links together a little bit.
So that link, the tricks aren't linked together, as in, it's not another coin trick, but it flows. And I think what I'm trying to say is, you use patter or a gag or something like that to link one trick to another.
Yeah.
The tricks don't have to link. For instance, you're doing cups and balls. You don't now have to now do
this what I said 10 minutes ago?
Another cup and ball trick. Or now you're going to do a trick with the ball or a trick with the lemon because you're left with the lemon.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. No. But you can make a gag or a verbal link between the one thing and the next. That's what it needs to be.
Totally agree. And hopefully that's helped. And we will talk about openers on the next show. I think that's important. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Hopefully that answers your question, or maybe it didn't.
Well, you should come back to us. We could do another one, I'm sure. So, review time.
Review time, yes.
We got two newish things.
Yeah, one's newer than the other.
So this is the new one. We're going to go with the older one first. I've been out that long, though, to be honest.
Okay. Well, can I tell you? No, I won't say yet. I was just about to say before I do it, but I was going to say I love this trick, but we'll talk about it after.
Yes.
Okay. So some of you might recognise this trick or this effect from an older effect.
Yes.
And this is a new twist on it. So if anybody knows me, they'll know that I'm also not just into magic, but I love cars. And these are, whenever I buy a car, I tend to keep the key rings just for nostalgia reasons. I don't know if you don't care, do you?
I couldn't care less.
Couldn't give a monkey about cars, could you?
I care less about cars than I do about David Copperfield.
So anyway, back in the day, I had a Ford. You see what I mean? This is why I would... back in the day, I had a Ford XR3i. Actually, it wasn't an I. It was just a Ford XR3.
Oh,
I couldn't afford the
peasant.
I. Couldn't afford the I. But anyway, I kept the keyring off it. I also had a Nissan Qashqai, but that's another story.
That wasn't back in the day, though, was it?
That wasn't.
You had a Nissan,
6 years ago.
You had a Nissan Sunny, really, didn't you?
No, I do. I had a Qashqai family car.
Okay.
Anyway, what tends to happen is I like to keep the key rings, as I mentioned. So I've got the Nissan one and the Ford one here. I'm going to show you a really cool trick you can do with these. If you grab them like this and give them a little squeeze like this, you can actually get them to change places. Did you say that? So now the Ford one's over here and the Nissan's over there. Let me do that again. So Ford's there, Nissan's here. Just touch the thumbs. See, when you touch the thumbs like that, they change back again. It's now Ford and I'll do it again. Look, if I just squeeze them like that, look at that, they change places. Ford here, Nissan here, squeeze them again, right? And now the Nissan's there and the Ford's there. It's good, that, isn't it?
No.
I know a lot of people think they're just the different ones on the other side.
They are.
Well, actually, there are different ones on the other side. In fact, these are the ones that I drive now. In fact, if I give it a little rub, you can actually see that this one's a Ferrari. And if I rub this one here, you'll see this one's a Rolls Royce. And they can both be now fully examinable.
That's great. Except you should have an Austin Allegro or something like that.
Yeah, it's more
and a Robin Reliant. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say that's what I'd like to drive now.
Yeah.
As I'd like to drive a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce now, but unfortunately.
So that's the old casino chip effect, but given a new liquor paint.
Yeah.
What a great idea. So this is by Craig Petty and
so Matthew Wright and Craig Petty.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's based on the old Rainbow Chips, Casino Chips it was called. Phantom Chips was another version. Eddie Gibson had one.
But it never I always liked the idea of it, but they didn't look like casino chips, did they?
No, because they were metal.
Because they were metal things.
Or silver.
So now this looks like a thing, and you actually get the in the box here. You get the things to put on the end.
Yeah, key rings. Yeah, so you can actually
take them off your key ring if you wanted to.
So you could literally have this as an everyday carry. You could have it literally on your car keys, on your house keys, ready to go. Just quickly going back on Rainbow Chips, in case anybody doesn't know what Rainbow Chips is. Rainbow Chips was two little brass discs which were black and white. And you'd show a black one here and a white one here. You'd close your hands, open them, and they would change places. And eventually you'd put one on top of the other and they would change colour. And now you could show them both sides to be completely different colours. So that's what Rainbow Chips was. And this is just you know what? It's one of those things which you go, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
And Craig's done a lot of that lately. He's put a new sort of spin on old ideas. And he's quite successfully. He did it with... the little game cartridges and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And it's really clever thinking on his part, I think.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's a Presto Printo effect, but with credit cards and things like that. So it just makes things feel a little bit more organic and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's
what I love about this is it's completely self-working. No skill whatsoever.
Have you performed this for real people?
I haven't actually, just in the shop.
I just wondered how many times you do it before they sort of call you out on that you just,
you're the sort of gag I remember I used to do with the chips is actually cover them over and do that, the old guy, you got a white one there and a black one there, look, I'll make them change places. Yep. And now I'll make them go back again.
Yeah.
Do that first and then do the turnover.
Yeah.
But this is good to do for kids. You could do it as a sucker effect for kids. So, you do it until the kids say, you turn it over. No, I'm not. Turn it round, and you can do all the, if you had kids there, you can't. Like a kids magician would get 45 minutes out of this. A kids' magician would get 45 minutes out of that. I'm talking about Hayden Parker. No, I'm not going to say any names. But yeah, you could use that as a sucker effect as well.
It just feels like 45 minutes with him.
It just feels like 45 minutes. Yeah, maybe it does. But I love this. I think it's workable. It's easy. The quality of the props is very good.
How fast is the reset?
A couple of seconds. You do need to turn around to reset it. Comes with a certain something, a little gimmick to reset it. But I could turn around now and probably reset it in 10 seconds probably.
Okay, so fast reset.
Seconds, yeah.
Really well-made props.
And the other thing, is not only is it self-work, it's completely examinable. So you literally hand these to the spectator and they can't find anything.
Except that's upside down.
Well, yeah, maybe. No, well, it depends which way, because when you hang it on your key ring, it depends which way you want it.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're hanging that on the thing.
It's nothing to do with the fact that you did it wrong.
No, of course it's not. I didn't have it set up properly. No, it's nothing to do with that.
No, okay, I believe
nice
you.
packaging. And cheap for what it is.
I was going to. That was my next question. How much is it?
£35, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought it'd be more than that. Yeah, that's good.
About £35.
So they've had this built. We'll talk. This is relevant to what we're going to come to in a second. The next product, but this has been built from the ground up, hasn't it? They've had this custom made and stuff.
Yeah, custom made, Yeah.
So there you go. Then you know what the questions are.
So the questions are: do you like it?
Yes.
I do. Would you use it?
Yes.
Would I use it? Yes. Recommended. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well done, Craig. Well done, Matthew. Love it. Brilliant.
Second review. So this is Magsight by Ian Bailey. So this is essentially a peak device that's been built into one of these new sort of, they call them a wallet, but it's a new wallet that you basically stick onto the back of your mobile phone. So the idea being you can put a credit card in there, you can put your driving license in there, and then you get supplied with these two cards, which basically essentially, oops, that was good. Essentially these two cards, it does stick on there somewhere, I just got in the wrong place. These two cards act as slates. So you get a dry white marker, and you get a spectator to draw something on there, and then you would put that back inside this, and then you get your peak. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a peak wallet.
So it's kind of it is a peak wallet. Yeah. And what Ian's done is he's found a product that he's been able to. He's basically made some changes to it to make it. So he hasn't had this built from the ground up, which was like our previous Effect Prestige. Yeah. He's found this on the market, and he's realised that he can do something to it. He's basically had something adapted. He's added something to it as well, and he can now use it as a peak device. Yeah. Okay. So because it's been made and manufactured, and it's been bought in, as you can see, it's all moulded plastic, and it's
very well made.
It's been designed to sort of sit in and go in and out of a pocket all day long and act as a wallet. Yeah. All right. So when Ian performs it, what he does is he takes it off the phone first. All right, and then he takes the card out, and you can drop it down here because there's nothing to see.
Yeah, you can show both sides.
You can show both sides, and then when they do the draw in there, he puts it back. So I think he leaves one in, and then he takes the second one back, and then he pushes it back in like that, and then he puts it back on the phone. And in that motion, he's just had the peak of the thing in there, of putting it back on the phone.
And before, what's cool about this is, I think as well, before and after you've done the peak, you can show both sides.
Well, you wouldn't need to show it after, because once you can
flash it.
Will you just leave it down on the thing like this to start with, so you don't need to? Okay. And then the idea of taking your peak is as you place it back onto the phone. No, so once it's back on the phone, you wouldn't take it off again.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that can stay there then, and then the next time you go to use this, you just take that out, and you would just wipe it off and give it to somebody.
Yeah. Obviously, you can use business cards.
I haven't tried it, but yeah, I guess so. I mean,
you can use business cards.
If you get a business, I guess you could. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Use business cards.
Yeah. So Ian's got clever idea. Use these, and you can use them all day long. I think he said he got the idea from Dave Bonsall. Dave was selling these, but basically, dry wipe. And as he pointed out, which was, I did did cross my mind when I was watching the video. Well, what happens if you push it back in? Will it wipe off and stuff? And the issue was, well, we tried it earlier and it doesn't. It doesn't wipe off at all. If you like the look of that, I think there is a trailer. We couldn't find the trailer, but I think there is a trailer out there for you to check it out, have a look at the trailer. But essentially, you're taking your peak as you're placing it back on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about this is that we talked about this before. You mentioned your story is wallets. This is a lot more modern.
Yes.
There's a lot of peak wallets on the market which are old-fashioned, large leather wallets. And not many people these days, or younger people certainly, are not carrying leather wallets at all. They're all like...
But older people do.
Older people do. I was going to bring my wallet out, but it's over there. But I have something similar to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, to carry around because I'm more modern. So I like this in the fact that it's a modern wallet.
Yes.
And a lot of people recognise this now as well. And a lot of people now have the stuff on the back of their phones. That's where they carry their credit cards, their cash, their IDs and stuff. They don't have a wallet at all. I mean, so I like the fact.
It's frightening how much these things are moving on, because I do remember a couple of 3 years ago, people were out using the leather cases where, they were using them. Yeah. And now, that does look, doesn't it? You wouldn't think that was a gimmicked thing at all.
No, not at all.
So from that point of view, I personally, I wouldn't have something like this.
Yeah.
Because I like my wallet. It's got all my cards in and you can carry cash in there. But people these days, they don't carry cash like us dinosaurs. Well, me, not you, I guess.
I do. Mine's sort of in between this. We'll talk about wallets another time. Mine's in between this and this. But that's what I like. I just think this is very modern. It's what people are carrying these days as opposed to a leather wallet. Okay. So for that... that's why I would say I would potentially use this.
So it's $49.99. Now, peak wallets are quite expensive.
Yeah.
So $49.99 when you're thinking about a peak wallet is probably
it's probably in the ball game.
I saw a new one the other day by another producer. It was a leather one and everything else, and it was £65, and that did a peak. So if this appeals to you, and that and that's the sort of wallet that you would like and you would carry your stuff around with, then I
also would say this is going to last forever. It's mega durable. That's not going to wear like a leather wallet.
Nah.
Or a general peak wallet.
You don't get a break or the hinge would snap on it.
I don't think so.
That?
No, I think that's really it's solid. I think that would last you almost forever.
There you go.
So I think it's
You like it? So do you like it?
Yes.
Would you use it?
No. The only reason.
What about? Hang on. Let me addendum that then.
Okay, go on.
Would you use that in a casual setting?
Yes.
Rather than a gig. Would you have this as an EDC?
Yes. I would, but the only reason I'm hesitating is because I already have something similar to this, but it's not on phone. And I'm very happy with the one I've got. But it was a bit more expensive than this, and that's the only reason I would hesitate on it. But if I didn't have that, I would definitely look at this.
Okay, so
because you can carry your stuff.
Would you use it?
Yes, if I didn't have the other one, which I already have.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, I like it. No, I wouldn't use it because I prefer a leather wallet, but that's personal preference.
Other than that, good, well done.
Yeah,
I think it's a good product.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
So that's it. That's a wrap. It's another show.
It is. I hope you're enjoying these shows, guys. If there's anything that you want us to review or anything you want us to talk about or any of that stuff, please drop a comment on YouTube or on social media.
Or email Magicbox or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll look at all of those things. And see you next time.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Have a great week.